but let me go back to the idea of the experts, because you mentioned these are popular works for popular culture. Well, no one's going to tell me that a song like Blurred Lines isn't for the populace. It's not a work of popular art. But when you go to a literary infringement case and you see judges go on and on and on describing, well, here's the plot, here are the characters, here's the setting, and they go on for pages, and then they describe the other work, and then anybody who's a litigator amongst us knows there's nothing easier than to pick and choose the things that are helpful to your case, put them in there, and leave out the stuff that isn't helpful to your case. That's what goes on in these descriptions that the judges throw in there, and then when it comes time for them actually to analyze it, it's usually a paragraph. This is not substantial. Why not get an expert to get up there and say, these similarities are important to the work. They do go to the artistic core of the work, because judges and we, lawyers, aren't really qualified to make that kind of a decision. It's just as difficult to write a screenplay as it is to write a popular song. And judges don't know any better how to the intricacies of doing that than they do writing popular music.
I wouldn't want to ask them to write a screenplay, but I do think they can read it. And a lot of these decisions are like mind-numbingly detailed and long in terms of how they're comparing the elements, and quite literate, actually. And I'm not so sure judges are all that expert in music, although if you go back to Arnstein versus Porter, one of the key Second Circuit courses on copyright infringement, I think it was Hand there, said, you know, I can listen to these just as well as anybody else, and expert testimony, who cares? You know, in a music case. I can't remember which way it came out, whether it was pro-defendant or for the plaintiff, but I think that, you know, judges are probably less likely to be knowledgeable enough about music to get into the detailed kinds of comparisons that succeeded in getting past summary judgment in the Blurred Lines case. And then, you know, as I said, I think as a songwriter, that's a terrible thing. And that beat case, if it's there, is even worse. You know, you know, because everybody's influenced by other people's songs. And in fact, they set out to do a Marvin Gaye type tune. And by the way, I'm happy Marvin Gaye's family made some money. My guess is he got screwed during his professional life. It's very possible. A lot of artists did. So I'm not. You know, I don't.
So you're not really Lucifer after all.
Well, but I'm like the Lucifer in the TV show, right? Where I've come to LA and suddenly developed a heart, right?
So in these mind-numbingly long opinions where the judges go into the details, I mean, shouldn't that be something that's deferred to a jury to make those decisions? I mean, some of these decisions, they literally go into incredible detail in the two works. Sometimes they're certainly Judge Morrow decisions are 60 pages or more. And it seems to me when you're getting into that much detail about the two works, that at that point it really should be deferred to a jury to make that decision. It feels like a factual issue, right?
Well, that's sort of what happens in the music. That's what happens in the music cases. That's what happened in Blurred Lines, where it survives a motion for summary judgment. Same thing that has happened in the Stairway to Heaven case. In that case, the plaintiff survived a motion for summary judgment. They had detailed expert testimony on both sides. Now it's going to the jury, and you could see, couldn't you, Jay, a jury saying, well, this has got the same total concept and feel. This Taurus song by Spirit has the same total concept and feel as Stairway to Heaven.
You know, I'm not that. I've listened to the Taurus tune, but not at any great length. And Stairway to Heaven is not my favorite Zeppelin tune, but I have listened to it, and I think they're actually quite different. If you listen to them, and not even maybe at the level of concept and feel. So I think, you know,
so you think the plaintiff has a loser on that one?
To be honest, you know, I think that when it gets to that point in front of a jury, my impression is it depends on which party the jury likes better. And so, you know, folks, you know, if you've got a likable plaintiff, that helps. If the defendant is somebody as you know, outrageous as Robin Thicke, maybe not such a good idea, or at least tell him to keep his mouth shut.
He's a celebrity.
But you know what happens is
like
these long lists of similarities, and in the several cases we read, for the one specifically we were going to talk about today, and we've been referring to them off and on. The similarities, yeah, there's a long list, but they're at least according to the judges, and I think the judges are capable of assessing this. Either they're not there. They aren't there in both works, or they're at such a level of abstraction that they're not. It's not infringing.